Jesse Bond with Realtime IPC, here with Bob Berg from Matrix USA. Hi Bob, welcome.
Hi.
So for the folks there who may not be aware of what Matrix USA does, can you give us a high-level view?
Yeah, Matrix USA is a primary distributor in the North American printed circuit marketplace. Our primary market is consumable materials. We've been in business for 46 years. Headquarters in Canada and 5 locations in the U.S. We also have we've been involved in equipment sales for most of our lives, and generally over the last 4 or 5 years we focused on 2 major brands, the Hokuto dry film cut sheet laminator and advanced engineering automated process equipment. What I do for the company is Vice President of Business Development, and I manage product management and a couple other areas within the company.
Yeah, and on our warm-up discussion, you mentioned automation being a key factor here. What do you see as some of the process automation trends for 2023 for the industry?
Well, for the PCB manufacturing industry, I think the hottest trends that are happening right now are people are looking at panel handling equipment, load, unload. There's also some interesting pieces of equipment that are more environmentally safe. There's electrostatic cleaners versus tacky roller type cleaners for panel handling. And one of the more interesting products is Mylar peeler. And the technology in the Mylar peeler has been very, very successful and is able to really more efficiently handle the panels in that part of the operation.
Understood. What would you say are some of the drivers of these trends that you're seeing?
2 major ones. Productivity. You know, you go out and you talk to all of our customers. Today, everyone is complaining, I can't find enough workers. I can't expand my business because I can't find them. And the people I get sometimes are not trained, they're not interested, focused enough. And so, you know, a piece of process equipment that can operate, well, 24/7 if needed, certainly can help the variability you see in that part of it. The other thing is handling. Handling damage is in every printed circuit shop. If you look at handling, there's 40 to 50 steps in manufacturing a printed circuit board. Boards go in, boards go out of each one of those steps. There's 80 touches of that panel. And that becomes a very significant contributor, even if it's a small percentage in loss. And profitability in a PCB shop is won or lost, you know, in the yield side of the business.
Understood. So what are some of the issues that you're seeing that come up when you're going into a customer to try to evaluate their process and see how you can further automate it to their, to the standard that they're looking for?
So one of the key ones is people don't know where to begin. They obviously see, hey, I have a person that's doing a very simple job, and I can replace it with maybe an automatic handler, robot load unload type of equipment. After that, as they talk about it, the second question is, what does it cost? And a lot of times when you start looking at some of this equipment, they're saying, gee, that's kind of expensive. But when you do the productivity analysis on these things, have a very high return on investment. The other thing is many people, despite understanding that they're having issues with yield, a lot of people do not have a real handle on the data. And it's very big, it's very important when you start putting in automation and you want to do a return on investment or analysis on return, that you know where you're starting from. What's your yield today? What will this do for you? How much does that actually cost on this particular unit operation? And so I think it's very important at the very beginning is to have these surveys, audits, benchmarks at the very beginning. So you can really know what the yield is, and then you can be much easily internally convince your management team or whatever to invest in this technology if they're balking on the original cost.
So from your perspective, what would be some key recommendations for your customers and industry-wide in regards to the automation process?
I think, again, benchmarking, look at your entire business holistically, and then also your key processes. And again, you know, there's an old saying, you know, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. And I think on a, you know, with this process automation, as you do this systems audit, you will find the low-hanging fruit. Pick a section, work with it, develop it, understand it, and you'll probably have a better feeling about how to advance that going forward, you know, through the rest of the operation. So I think the other thing is when you start doing that as well, if you look around, there's probably, I'm just going to hesitate, 15 or more different types of pieces of equipment, robotic equipment, arms, loaders, unloaders that are available. Take a look at the companies that provide these things to see if they can provide that systems orientation, front to back, because what you don't want is a whole series of different devices that may not be interconnected and communicate well with another and perform a little bit differently within. You'd like to have a systems approach.
So kind of a standardization across the entire system.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and that could be through the whole plant, or it could be in individual processes, because you know every company has its strengths and weaknesses.
Well, thanks, Bob. Before we close, is there anything else that you'd care to share from the Matrix USA point of view, from your perspective regarding industry or anything there?
Well, we're bullish. I mean, we've seen some tremendous interest in process automation, and one of my responsibilities is to I think help educate people on the advantages, so they feel comfortable in implementing this technology. And I think this is the wave of the future, and I think it's going to go beyond, you know, simple load, unload, and process, but the interconnectedness. You hear a lot about Industry 4.0. You look out into the future, and you know, there's more and more talk about, you know, AI, artificial intelligence, and if you can get all your machines to communicate to one another, and then through artificial intelligence start thinking about some of the variables and correcting them online, you've got a very sophisticated operation. And I think it's going to be key for, let's talk about the West, Europe, and the U.S. marketplace, to invest in these technologies to be able to compete with some of the larger global companies on a cost basis.
Bob, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks.
This has been Jesse Vaughn for Realtime IPC with Bob from Matrix USA.